Once Sheriban successfully convinced Khadijah to meet up with her, Sheriban told her parents that she was going to visit her ex-husband.
Von der die Polizei 24 Stunden lang dachte, dass sie die Tote sei, die aber lebt und die eben einen Mord eingefädelt haben soll.
Sometimes the world's beauty is a curse. It keeps us from seeing who the real monsters are, said a fake serial killer. This could not have been truer in what has become known as one of Germany's most twisted and cruel crimes. Behind seductive eyes and a come-here smile was a sick person who wanted to hurt someone else for their own gain. It was a murder like no other. You could only read about it in a good thriller book or see it on the big screen in Hollywood. For one person, however, it was a desperate act that turned into a crime. The victim's big mistake was trusting and thinking that other people were good. But what made the murderer do something so cruel and pointless? Let's have a look at the case with the most insane twist you've ever heard of.
Il décide donc de partir à sa recherche et peu après minuit le 16 août.
On August 16th, 2022, Sharaban K's parents called the Discovery Bavarian police in a panic to claim that their daughter had gone missing. She told her parents she was going to meet her ex-husband in Munich. When she didn't come home and didn't answer or return any of her parents' calls, they got worried about her safety and went looking for her. They found her Mercedes in a parking lot for residents near the Danube River. A body was in the back seat. The police came and put up a fence around the area, while her parents stood back and watched what was happening. When the police opened the door, they saw something terrible. The body of a young woman had been cut so many times that her face was completely messed up. The seats and rugs of the car were completely covered in blood. After the body was removed from the car, doctors tried to bring the young woman back to life, but it was far too late. Sharaban's parents were able to figure out who she was, even though the cutting was so violent they couldn't see her face. Her dark hair and body made her easy to identify. A quick look at the license plates showed that the driver was a person who had been killed. Police told the press that a young woman's body had been found, and it looked like she had been killed violently. As is usual in Germany when a murder is being investigated, the press only shared her first name and a picture of Sharaban K. She was 23 years old and lived with her parents in Munich, which is the capital of the German state of Bavaria. She was of Iraqi and German descent, and news sources say that she had been married before. According to the news, Sharaban worked as a hairdresser and often wrote about her work in her blog. German officials didn't tell the media too much about her personal life, but it said that she spent a lot of time on social media. Several knives were found at the crime scene, but none of them were the real weapon used. They also realized that the murder had happened somewhere else and that the body had been dumped in the car's back seat before it was left in the parking lot. Investigators searched in the nearby woods for evidence, but they didn't find anything, not even the murder weapon. The young woman was given an autopsy, and it showed she had been stabbed a total of 50 times. She didn't have any other wounds, and she hadn't been harmed in any other manner. Even though her parents had already told the police who she was, the agents needed more proof. For identification and DNA tests, blood samples and fingerprints were taken. The results came back in 2 days. The police were getting ready to start looking into who might have tried to have killed Sharaban. When they started to look at the autopsy reports, however, they were shocked to find out that nothing was what it seemed to be. The twist in this case was so strange and surprising that no one could say anything. Sharaban's body was not there. Even though they were glad, her parents were even more confused. The question was clear to them and to the investigators. Who was this girl, and how did she know Shahraban? Khadija, who was 23 years old at the time, was named as the person who died. She was born in Algeria and lived in Heilbronn, which is more than 100 miles from Munich. Investigators haven't said much about her personal life. What is known is that she used social media to promote herself in the beauty business and also build a fan base for her beauty blog. With this shocking discovery, the whole way the investigation was going had now changed. Shahraban was now being looked at by police as a possible suspect in Khadija's death. On August 16, 2022, the police put out a statement about the missing woman. Several tips and reports came in about a woman seen in and around Ingolstadt who looked a lot like the woman who was killed. At first, they thought these were just rumors, but after the DNA report showed that Shahraban had not been killed, they started to look into these sightings more carefully. Shahraban was caught on CCTV on August 17, 2022, the day after the body was found. She was spotted nearby a pizzeria. After watching the video, the police talked to the staff and the owner. They found out that she had been seen with a guy in the days after Khadija's body was found. They also found out that the man lived nearby. After talking to more witnesses, they went to the flat of Shakir K., a 23-year-old Kosovar who lives in Ingolstadt and is thought to be Shahraban's partner. As it turned out, the crime scene wasn't very far from where Shakir lived. Investigators found Shakir's flat, where they found both him and Shahraban. On August 19, 2022, they were both arrested. Investigators questioned the couple about their possible role in the murder of Khadija based on their digital trail. By that time, investigators had already checked Khadija's online page, and they had learned that she and Shahraban had become friends on Instagram in the summer of 2022. There had been many online chats between the two women, but Shahraban's repeated requests to meet in person and the fact that the two women looked so much alike caught the attention of the police. Then, the investigators looked at Shahraban's online record. A group of digital forensic experts found her picture in several fake accounts on different social media sites. It was clear that Shahraban and her boyfriend Shakir had searched the internet for people who looked like them. They were said to have talked to 5 different women, but none agreed to meet them in person. The couple was questioned by investigators over a period of time, and they stayed in jail until August 2022. In January 2023, police finally told the German newspaper The Bild that Shahraban was looking for a double to use in a fake murder plan. Reports say that Shahraban and her family were having a hard time, and she was desperate to find a way out. She planned to hide and find someone who looked like her so she could fake her own death and keep her family from looking for her. Investigators said that what she did was selfish and immoral. Khadija was the unfortunate person who fell for Shahraban's trick. Police say that Shahraban pretended to be the German rapper Loon and asked Khadija to be in a music video he was making. Khadija got in touch with the rapper because she wasn't sure about the offer. She left a voicemail that said, "I hope you can see it and answer me because I'm very, very unsure. I'd love it if you could tell me if it's real or not." The rapper told Khadija, "It's not real, sister. Don't answer." When this didn't work, Shahraban made Khadija a deal she couldn't refuse: a complete set of beauty products she was known to use often. Shahraban and Shakir led Khadija to her death by lying about meeting her ex-husband, driving to Heilbronn, and then stabbing her more than 50 times in a wooded area. They disfigured her face and left her body in the car before abandoning it in a parking lot. They arrested Sharaban and Shakir almost 5 months later and charged them with first-degree murder. They spent their 24th birthdays in jail and faced overwhelming evidence, including the victim's stab wounds and disfigured face. This was a brutal and unusual case that required the most skilled investigators. Sharaban's parents were devastated to learn of their daughter's involvement. This tragedy highlights the dangers of social media and the importance of being cautious when making friends online. Today's case shows how dangerous social media can be and how bad things can hide behind pretty faces. It also reminds people who use social media that they need to be careful when making friends online and to never let their guard down. So, what are your thoughts about today's case? What could have made Sharaban do such a dangerous thing to get away from her family? Why do you think that Khadija thought Sharaban would never hurt her? Have you ever been in a situation like this that seemed to have a lot of warning signs? Tell us in the comment section below. And as always, stay safe, take care of yourself, and we'll see you in the next one.